And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste Podcast, right here on the KentHolstePodcast.com website, and as well as the Kent Holste Podcast YouTube channel. And I am so glad you decided to click this link, as this is going to be part number 2 from what I gained from my time with family and the time that I had to kind of regather myself and think about life. And today I wanted to add to this little series of what I learned and what I gained from this trip to Kansas. And I want to talk about respect. You know, growing up as a kid, I wasn't very respectful to my adoptive family. There was many times where I chose to take that wrong route in life and treat them with disrespect. I didn't think about others' feelings or emotions. I only cared about what I wanted to do. I didn't respect the fact that my parents were trying to teach me what was right and what was wrong. My parents were very strict. My parents were a very loving but caring. They also wanted to raise my brother. So on this podcast today, that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to get into more of my past and the lifelong lessons that I've had to learn about giving and earning and respecting others for what they want and what they need and what they need to see from me. So don't you go anywhere. This is the Kent Holste Podcast. Are you looking to join a good community with people that truly care about your feelings and emotions? Well, I encourage you to check out Kent Holste Podcast website, where you can find Circle of Friends. Circle of Friends is a place to be a community, but more importantly, a family. This is a page to be supportive by sharing special events that are positive or even letting others pray for you. A place that people can come together without fear of being judged, no matter of race or disabilities. A time to be that person that takes the time to care for others when it's needed most. We are all not just friends, we are family. It's the Kent Holste Podcast website at KentHolstePodcast.com with Circle of Friends. So, welcome once again to the podcast. I am so glad that I have this ability to have a platform where I can share my life experiences, but also have the ability to have others who can relate and who understand what this mission is all about. You know, there's a lot of people out there in this world who unfortunately don't get it. In order to live a healthy life, you have to have respect, not just for yourself, but you have to have respect for other people. You have to respect what other people want for their lives. You have to respect the fact that when you do something wrong, there's consequences. In life, it's not easy. It's not easy to understand why things happen. We don't understand why bad things happen, why people get sick why people have to deal with a loss in the family, why people have to go through the stress of worrying and wondering and thinking to themselves, what's going to happen next? Because they're so used to living a life where people can't respect their wishes, their wants, their expectations. You know, I had to learn to respect the fact that I've had many failures in my life. I had to learn to respect the fact that there are people that didn't like me because of my actions. I had to respect the fact that because of those bad choices in my life that I've made, I had to overcome more obstacles than what was needed in the beginning. My choices led me to where I'm at today. And if I would have had more decency of respect for other people, then things would be different. Maybe I wouldn't have had the 3 divorces that I've had in my life. Maybe if I would have had more respect, I wouldn't have lost my 3 kids. Maybe if I had more respect for situations, maybe I wouldn't have gotten in trouble as a kid. You know, it seems like as a kid and sometimes as adults, we like to test the limits of other people. We think that we're so, untouchable, untraceable, that we can do whatever we want, knowing that if we're careful or if we play the cards right, we can get away with anything. But that's the thing. If you do that, you don't have any self-respect. You don't respect yourself because you're doing things that you know are not right, but you're convincing yourself that they are right. I did that. The fact of the matter is if people tell you things that you need to do with your life to change, or maybe there's people in your life that you've dated, like I've had, and they don't want you around, that they have made things difficult in a way to where you had no choice but to back away and move forward. But there's some people who don't respect that. And they try to test the waters to see how far they can go. That's not respect. Respect is about giving what other people want and expect from you. And if you can't respect yourself, if you can't respect the wishes of other people, then you're not going to go far in life. Because I didn't. I had to learn that respect, the word that my dad and my mom tried to engrave into my mind, was something I had to respect in itself. If I didn't respect, what good am I doing? I had to respect the fact that I had to move on in my life from things that were difficult. I had to respect the fact that there are going to be people that like to be bullies. I had to respect the fact that there's people out there that have opinions that I don't agree with, but that's their decision. And how they live and pursue the choices that they make, whether they respect mine or others, that's all up to them. But the consequences of what they think and what they feel all depends on how they deal with it. I didn't respect my parents. I didn't respect my elders. I didn't respect my teachers. I didn't respect my principals. I didn't respect my bosses. I didn't respect my friends because I was selfish. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't care what other people were going to do or react or whatever. And where do you think that type of attitude landed me? It landed me with less friends. It landed me with plenty of divorces, more than I wanted in my life. It landed with me not having the opportunity to have a healthy and decent relationship with my parents. And you could probably even throw in my extended family along with that. My aunts, my uncles, my grandparents. I was a jerk. And it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. But it takes an even bigger man to know that it takes respect to earn other people's gratitude for the things that you do and the things that you overcome. People will respect you more when you do the right thing. People will respect you more when you back away when you need to back away. And granted, within my relationships, whenever a relationship would end, there was times where I just gave up. I would move on. I would find something else. But when it came to my marriages, I tried to do everything I could to make it work. Now, 9 times out of 10, the things that I was doing to try to make it work were unorthodox, and quite frankly, they were stupid ideas because they didn't work. Because I was more concerned about myself than the other person. Does that mean I respected them? No. I disrespected them. Because I didn't ask what they wanted. And if I did, 9 times out of 10, I would weasel out of it because I didn't want to deal with it. I thought I was better than what they were trying to portray me as, when really I was a selfish, manipulative jerk. When I didn't get my way, I would do everything in my power to try to convince them to stay by saying things about my life, saying things about how useless I am. I would try to make them feel like I was putting myself down so low that they had to show me otherwise. Because 9 times out of 10, I was feeling like I wasn't good enough anyways. I was always worried that I was going to be cheated on. I was always worried that I wasn't good enough. And the fact of the matter is I had to respect myself to know that I am good enough. And no relationship is going to work in my life until I realize that I am good enough. There was friends of mine who tried to tell me that. Don't get into another relationship until you respect yourself. Because no relationship is going to work until you do that. And you know, for 3 years, I've been trying to figure that out. For 3 years, I've been trying to redefine myself. And because of that, pulling myself away, trying to work on myself, I've become a better person. You know, there's a lot of people who have seen me the last 3 years, and they see the person I am, and they see a completely different person. Why? Because I'm not hiding. You know, it used to be the fact that I would come home, I would have all the blinds in the house shut because I wanted no one to look in. I was in fear that people were watching me. And now it's at the point where I don't need to fear. I don't need to worry about what other people think about me. Because as long as I'm living the life that I need to, that is positive and encouraging, and I'm respecting myself, there's nothing I need to worry about. Because if I view myself as a good person, other people are going to see me as a good person. I don't have to lie and put up a fake front. And that's the other thing in our lives. We don't respect ourselves enough because we feel like we have to act like people we are not in front of others in order to have respect. We don't respect ourselves enough. We don't give ourselves enough credit where credit is, quite frankly, due. We don't think about how important it is to respect ourselves. And a lot of it has to do with the way that we live, the way that we talk, the way that we work, the way that we put things into our body with the way that we eat, staying healthy. If you're doing things like eating out all the time, eating fast food, not eating in a way that is going to give you the right nourishment for your body, you're not respecting yourself. When you're out drinking every single night, closing the bars, leaving the bars completely snockered to death that you can't even walk, see straight, you're not respecting yourself. When you're hanging out with your friends and they pull out drugs like heroin or meth, and you look at the spoon or you look at the needles before you put that into your body, into your system, you're not respecting yourself. When you're stealing things and you're trying to sell them and do things to make money because you don't want to get a normal job and work like everybody else does, you don't respect yourself. When you're lying to other people and not telling the truth about who you are and the mistakes that you've done in your life, and you're hiding them and you're balling them up deep down inside, you don't respect yourself. When you're struggling and you're feeling like no one cares and you're starting to form hatred towards other people for no apparent reason, you don't respect yourself. And a lot of those examples that I just said, you also don't respect other people. You're not respecting the fact that there's people out there that look at you and they see the truth. They know the type of person you are. And the fact is some people aren't strong enough to stand up and call you out on it. And the sad thing is when people do get called out, people get defensive. They feel like they have to retaliate. What good did that do? You're not respecting those people. And you're also sure as heck not respecting yourself. Because yes, we don't want to admit that we're not perfect. We don't want to admit that we are at sometimes bad people. But the more you don't face the truth, the more you don't change your life for the better and start doing things that will leave a positive impact in your life, you're not showing respect to yourself. So change it. Don't waste time. Don't say, oh, I'm going to start next week. I'm going to stop doing these things tomorrow. Do it today. Do it right now. Make that commitment to yourself that you are going to be a better person. You know, growing up, we always hear the slogan, be the bigger person. Be the bigger man. Being the bigger person is respecting yourself, respecting others. And if you don't do that, does that make you no man at all? That's up to debate. Depends on how serious the situation is. But I'm not here to push blame or point fingers and tell you that if you're making these choices, you're a bad person. Because we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're human. We were made and designed to be failures. But why? So we can learn. If this world was perfect, there would be no meaning to life. We would all be the same. It would be boring. And thankfully, it's not that way because I like who I am. I like my identity. I like the person that I've become. And if there was another person that lived like me, acted like me, talked like me, looked like me, all that, I think I would be more miserable. So there is no way to say there is a perfect life. Because it takes work. So how are you going to change? How are you going to make that commitment to respect yourself? But most importantly, respect others. I just want to take a moment to see if you could help me out for a second. You know, coming up with different topics and ideas for interviews is kind of hard sometimes. But with your help, I could get some really great ideas flowing here. So all you got to do is just shoot me an email. But not only that, maybe you need someone to pray for you or someone that you know. Perhaps maybe you would like to give some positive feedback and give ideas to make the podcast, our interviews, and something on the website just a little bit better. All you got to do is just send me an email at kentholstepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's kentholstepodcast@gmail.com. And I would love to chat with you. Maybe together we can make this podcast just a little bit better with your help. So what are you waiting for? Send me your ideas, your prayer requests, or people that you know that would be a great interview, whether they're an artist or maybe they just have an inspiring story to share about their life. Do it today at kentholstepodcast@gmail.com. You know, when we hear the word respect, I think we all think about the song that spells it out. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me, right? What does respect mean to you? How has respect been a major part in your life? You know, like I said, it's not easy to always respect others' thoughts, feelings, opinions, but it's something we have to learn to respect. You know, we turn on the TV and we have ABC, NBC, CBS, we have CNN, we have all these news markets out in this world. And each and every single one of them uniquely has their own political feeling and side they like to keep in mind and kind of force upon other people who choose to watch that single channel. And it all comes down to whether we respect those views, whether that channel stays on our TVs. It also means that when we go online and we surf the web and we try to find specific news stories, which of those news media channels we first dial in on our keyboard. Because we respect that opinion. That's how life is. We choose what we think is appropriate in our own mind, how we think we should respect. And sometimes those views are not correct. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're kind of in between. So the question remains, how do we know which one to put our faith into? How do we know which one we should respect the most to get what we need out of it? And how do we know if our respect that we're giving to ourselves and to other people is what's really needed or even wanted? Because we may have the utmost respect for someone, and we may feel deep down in our heart that that's the only place where we feel comfortable, we feel safe, we feel wanted. And the fact of the matter is sometimes that's not the case on the other side. Sometimes what we think and feel in our mind is not how it truly is for the other person. And it hurts. And we don't know how to react to that. We don't even know if we can fully respect that that's what they want. At the end of the day, we have no choice but to walk away and just let it be. Because what's more important? The other people's views on what they feel is right and what makes them feel happy, but most importantly, safe? Or is it what you think? Because you have expectations in your life of how you think you should be treated. So how would it make you feel if the tables were turned and people weren't respecting you? That people just didn't want to see eye to eye with you. And maybe that's what's happening regardless. You have to learn to respect the things that you cannot change. It's one of the biggest things that people who go to Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous They say the serenity prayer because they have to learn and respect the things that they cannot change. But they have to know what is going to take them to better places. They have to know the difference between good and bad. They have to know the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And if you're thinking and playing the victim all the time, you're not respecting yourself. You're not respecting other people. Because playing the victim does nothing. Playing the victim saying, oh, I'm getting mistreated. Oh, I'm not being understood. I'm not this. I'm not that. You are playing the victim. If people are saying things to you that you are feeling down or upset or insulted or disrespected, then maybe you should stop, pull yourself out of your own shoes, and look at it from their point of view. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see what they're feeling. You'll understand where they're coming from. And that will lead to respecting how they feel. This whole conversation about respect could be a conversation about so many different things. But I think it's funny that every single day, I don't know about you, but I think there's a point where we say or we think it, why don't you respect me? Why don't you respect my opinion? Why don't you respect where I'm coming from? Why don't you respect that there's nothing I can do? There's nothing you can do. Respect is hard. Respect is hard to accept. Because we all have expectations in our life. And sometimes things and situations don't go as what we thought or what they were planned out to be. You know, there's plenty of relationships that I've had in my life where I thought they were going to be the one. That relationship was going to be the forever love story. Or that job was my dream job and there was no way I'm going to leave it. Sometimes it didn't play out that way, right? Things had to change. Things had to evolve. And sometimes we have to learn to respect the fact that there's nothing we can do but turn and try to make the best out of what is here and now. But the biggest thing we have to remember that it's never the end. It's not the end of the world. Tomorrow is a new day, a new beginning. So how are you going to change your outlook on respect? Join in this conversation. And once again, I'm going to try to make it as easy for anybody to understand. This is not a time to bash. This isn't a time to be rude or inappropriate because I don't want to block anybody. I don't want to delete anybody's thoughts or opinions about this topic, about how positive things have happened through learning about respect. This is a time to be a community, a time to come together to share your experiences of what you went through on your tough lessons about respect and how you got through it, what made you pull through. What lessons did you learn? Who taught you these lessons? Why are they so important? And just share it. Talk about it. But being rude and destructive and all this stuff is exactly what we're talking today. It's not respectful. So be respectful. Be kind. And let's just have a time to come together and just be there for someone. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't understand what respect truly is. And maybe my perception of respect is different from yours. Maybe I'm close from where your viewpoint is, but you need to add a few more things. That's what this is for. But it's not a time to be rude. It's not a time to come at me and say things we already know. I'm not perfect. I've screwed up. I've made bad choices in my life, and I've lived and I've learned, and that's why I'm here today, to help encourage the people who felt the way that I did, who didn't understand what respect was and the harm that it can do to yourself and other people when you don't respect the boundaries of respect. These boundaries are getting broken every single day by people because they don't respect the decision that you have kindly asked for. And that needs to change. Because the more you make bad choices, the more you make bad decisions, the more you risk the chance of living life the way you don't want to. No one likes the feeling of being alone. No one likes the feeling of being looked at and frowned upon. So change that. But harming people, making threats to people, having other people try to scare people, to try to manipulate, to play mind games with other people, that is not respect. And I've been there. I've done it. I've acted like that. And the consequences were horrible. And it has taken me years, and still to this day, I am trying to regain the respect of other people. My parents being the biggest of those people. My parents have always said it is going to take time to regain the trust and the respect from the things that you have done. And trust me, in 36 years of my life, I have been probably one of the worst sons any parent could ever ask for. And I am humbly ashamed to even think of the things that I've done, to not respect the viewpoints that my parents tried so hard to teach me. And it's not even just my parents. It's therapists, it's teachers, it's school principals, it's family members who tried vigorously to try to open my eyes and to understand about respect. And the more I didn't listen, the more that I did not respect the lessons that I was being taught, the more I dug myself a hole I could not get out of. And you can think you're the greatest mind gamer. You can think to yourself that you are the best at what you do to manipulate people. But in reality, you're not, because you're doing more harm to yourself than the harm that you're doing to other people by not respecting. Does that make sense? This is something that I've had to learn for many, many years of my life. When my parents said no, I didn't respect that they said no. When my parents said I couldn't have something, I didn't respect that decision. When my parents said I couldn't go to certain places or hang out with certain people, I didn't respect that decision. And the outcome led to a life where many things shouldn't have happened. And I totally regret all that. I should have listened. I should have respected what they said. But unfortunately, there's people out there that can't get out of that mindset, that continue to think like that, growing up even as into an adult. They still think that they can not respect other people's feelings and opinions and thoughts. And it goes into our jobs. We see people who try to manipulate the system, try to lie and not respect the guidelines that have been put in place for a reason. And we could even go biblical here, and the lessons that God has made and put in stone, figuratively speaking, we choose not to respect it. We choose not to honor our father and mother. We choose not to respect our elders. We choose not to respect the fact that we shouldn't covet our neighbor's wives. We choose not to respect the fact that we should not use the name of the Lord in vain. We don't respect that. How many times do we hear people say, gosh, this, gosh, that, and I'm replacing the word gosh with the word God or Jesus or whatever. It comes out naturally, like we don't even think about it. But are we respecting him? No. One of my favorite Bible verses is from Romans 15, 1 through 7. And this is the Bible verse that has been my mission statement from day one. Listen carefully. We who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves. Each of us should please our neighbors for their good, to build them up. For even Christ did not please himself, but, as it is written, the insults of those who insult you have fallen on me. For everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through the endurance taught in the Scriptures and the encouragement they provide, we might have hope. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind toward each other that Christ Jesus had, so that with one mind and one voice you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Now listen up. This is the biggest part. This has to do with respect. Accept one another. Then, just as Christ accepted you in order to bring praise to God. So if we don't respect other people, if we don't respect the feelings of the weak, we're not pleasing God, we're disrespecting him. Everything we say about other people, we're saying about him. That's not respect. So to look at it this way and to put it as my point, when we don't respect others, we are also not respecting the man who created us, and that is our Lord and Savior. And if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in a higher power, quote unquote, I don't know what to tell you. But all I can tell you from a Christian standpoint is this: God is a forgiving God. And even though you disrespect other people, even though you disrespect Him by the actions that you do towards other people, He still respects you. So why not respect Him back? Because you can do all the most dangerous, rude, inappropriate things to people. He'll still forgive you because He respects you and He loves you. Why? Because He helped create you. So why disrespect that? Well, I'm not perfect. I've made bad decisions. I've hurt people. I've done things to my parents, my siblings, my own family members. I'm a horrible person. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can be a better person. If you're saying that, you don't respect yourself because you don't believe in yourself. And the thing about it is, what did I just read to you? If you say that about yourself, you're saying the same thing about the big man up top who helped created you, who gave you life, who gave you family, who gave you friends, who gave you your job, who gave you the life that you live with, the car that you drive. The possessions that you have were graciously given to you by the hard work that you put in, but the life that was given to you by God. And yet we disrespect Him by not living the life that we should. We would rather hurt people and put fear into other people and to make people think things that aren't true. We lie. We're deceitful. And yet we don't respect ourselves and we don't respect others by doing those things. And at the end of the day, it's more than you reap what you sow. It's more than what goes around comes around. The actions that you do, the things that you say, the life that you live is a reflection on yourself. And if you want to create the reputation and the image of looking like that, being a disrespectful person to others, and most importantly, you want to have the image that you don't respect yourself, then that's a problem. I encourage you, if you have confidence issues, if you have situations in your life that you just don't know how to cope with, that you can't accept, please see a therapist, a professional that can help you. Just because you seek help doesn't mean that you're weak. It means you're respecting yourself. It means that you're trying to make a difference. That's admirable and that is respectful. And when people see the hard work you put into your life and they see the obstacles that you've had to overcome and the success that you've had, people will respect you even more. You don't have to create fear to gain respect. You don't have to make people feel like dirt and like they're non-existent just to make you feel like you're relevant to get respect for yourself. That's not how you do it. That's not how life works. And that's what is the reason why this world is the way that it is. Because people don't have respect. And that's sad. And it's frustrating because I know what it's like. I've acted it. I've lived it. And I wasted 30 some years of my life disrespecting myself, disrespecting others, and creating a lifetime of frustration. Not just for the people that I did it to, but to me, because for the rest of my life, I have that over my head. I have to constantly think, did I do wrong to that person? Did I respect them? Oh no, how do I act? How do I react being around this person? You wouldn't have to think that if you had respect. You wouldn't have to worry about how you should be around other people if you treat other people with respect. It's a fact. That's how it should be. Hey everyone, I just want to take this time to thank you for tuning in to today's show. Without your support and watching these videos, this podcast wouldn't be where it's at today. And the same goes for the website as well, and the YouTube channel. So to help me out even more, if you haven't done so yet, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified when a new, amazing content comes out. Also, don't forget to check out all the other social media sites as well, and like, share, and comment, and subscribe there too. It all is being a part of this community where we can come together and show that we care for one another so we can motivate and encourage others. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the show. So here's the big question. What did you take from today's podcast? Did you realize the things that you've done and may have reacted to things in a different aspect now? Because I know through talking about it, there's so many things that are popping into my mind that I want to say, but honestly, we're already at way past my usual podcast time. But I wanted to talk about this because as I was spending time with family, the word respect came into my mind. You know, there's certain times in our life where we come across people who lived a life where it was nothing but respect to family, to friends, and just to anything. And as I watched, other family talk about the memories and all this positive and encouraging things, all I heard was respect. And this person lived a life of respect. They respected their heritage. They respected the people who have helped form the life that they live. They helped create the memories and the legacy that will, quite frankly, continue through years and years down the line because they were respected by the love and the care that they showed towards other people. It was powerful. It was amazing. It was emotional. How could you not get emotional Because if you're not getting emotional about the things that you hear about such a powerful experience in life, then you're really not taking in the full situation. You're not really thinking about the respect that was worked so hard for generations. Live a life that others can look back on and say, I have mad respect for that person. Because are you living a life currently right now where people can say that? That people have mad respect for you because of the life that you lived? That you didn't cheat through it, that you didn't lie through it, that you made things right when you did wrong. You lifted other people up when they were down. You lived the perfect life because you didn't have to turn back and go, wait a minute, I need to fix this. We should be more focused on knowing that we don't have to look back because we did everything in a way that was respectful and kind and compassionate. We may not understand why things happen, why people have to suffer, why people have to live in pain, but we can sure respect how they lived through it. That's what I think, and that's what I gained out of that experience. They lived through a time that was hard. Their body was doing things to them that caused them to not understand. They lived a life that was so beautiful. And for that, I can say I have mad respect for them. If you enjoyed this podcast today, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. But don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified of all the latest new posts that are being put on to the YouTube channel. But most importantly, check out all the other social media sites. The Kent Holste Podcast is on Twitter, Instagram. There's a fan page on Facebook, but also we are now on some amazing TikTok videos, and we are also on Dub Smash, all under the Kent Holste Podcast. So check it out today. And subscribe, like, comment, join in the conversation there. That's what it's there for. Let's show the world when they click on the Kent Holste Podcast that there is thousands upon thousands of followers. Because we all want to see good out of people. We all want to see positive things from our lives. And we can't do that without being a community. So let's be that community today. So remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. To respect. And I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be military, police, fire, or even the hardworking medical staffs in our hospitals, in doctors' offices, clinics, give them the respect that they deserve by giving them an elbow, give them a fist bump, tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that one random act of kindness and respect. So do that today. And until the next time we talk, thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking that link. Be safe. But most importantly, God bless.